Good morning and welcome back. It is now April 15th. As you can see, it is pretty overcast and cloudy, but it is a nice, actually quite warm morning. Definitely did not freeze overnight. Growing conditions are actually excellent right now, but things are due to take a rather severe turn tonight and tomorrow, and we're supposed to be pretty cool and wet for the next part of the week. So we will have to see what that looks like, but let's see what's going on in the fields this week. With the increased soil temperatures in the last week, especially the last 3-4 days where we've been really nice and warm and sunny, you can see we have a whole pile of new emergence. A lot of this here in this spot is foxtail. All this grass is all fall germinated foxtail that's all greening up, getting growing now, and you can see interspersed with it we have a whole pile of kochia everywhere. So surface soil temperature after last night, we're sitting at about 11 degrees Celsius right on the surface here, which is pretty damn nice. We'll scratch down to the moisture layer. We'll see where she's at. So that's about an inch or so deep. Sitting at 9.3. So we are definitely warm enough to seed into that 1-inch layer in this spot anyways. It does tend to vary from field to field depending on how much cover you have. Let's go a little bit deeper. See here. 9.2 there as well, so nice and warm after those last couple days of sun. This is ideal seeding conditions with good moisture, but I don't think it's going to last much longer after today. Definitely this week, with the warmer soil temperatures, we have an increase in the amount of Russian thistles here. So you can see all these little guys all popped up here, and that's just happened in the last few days of warm weather. So these guys at this stage are going to be extremely hard to hit with any sort of herbicide until these leaves fully unfold, or even really until they start putting out their first true leaves, and then they're going to be a much better sized target. So I would definitely recommend at this point, with these growing conditions the way they are, don't get too far ahead of your seed drills right now. These guys are emerging every day. We want to get as many as we possibly can to set us up for success later in the season. I'm checking out some winter wheat today, and you can see we have some dead spots here. They're not 100% dead, but they might as well be. Out here you can see some of these low spots all through here, down into where I'm standing here. There was definitely a thaw and freeze cycle at some point in the winter, which resulted in probably ice or water sitting on these areas. So there is still a few plants here, but they're pretty few and far between in a lot of cases. Very limited chance of regrowth, so I think we'll be coming in here and reseeding. You can still see it is green, but it's dead crispy, so I don't think there's much chance we're going to see a whole lot of regrowth in these areas yet this spring, but you never know. In some areas like this, you can see we got a real nice stand just up ahead here, and then it gets quite thin here. There's quite a lot of manure here. It's pretty heavy, and it looks like it has kind of sifted a bit with the wind. So it's kind of filled in all over the seed rows and kind of buried the plants. And they do look dead, but when you dig down beside them, there is still green growth, and it looks like they are trying to put out some new growth. So spots like this might have a chance of filling in, but will be substantially delayed compared to the rest. Still Monday afternoon here. Sure turned into an absolutely gorgeous day. 18 degrees where I am here right now. It's hard to believe that tomorrow they're calling for -5 and a snowstorm, but I guess we'll see what happens. Well, as you can see, it is now Tuesday. We're having a little bit of a blizzard here. It started raining last night. I think we got about roughly 1/4 of an inch in my gauge, and now it's been snowing since the sun came up basically. So temperature right now is about -1. I think we're supposed to get down to -5 tonight and for the next couple nights. So definitely right now, soil temperature is still warm. You can see we are, starting to get some good moisture in that soil profile. So should be pretty good. This soil temperature is going to stay relatively warm from the last few days of sun. So anything that got seeded in the last few days should be more than safe as long as it doesn't emerge, and I don't think we're in any risk of that. But for right now, there's not going to be much seeding or spraying going on for the next day or two, at least. Well, it's now Wednesday afternoon, and the sun has finally decided to come out. Flurries yesterday didn't amount to a whole lot, and there's been on and off rain today, but it hasn't really done a whole lot. So let's check some soil temperatures here. See where our surface temperature, we're at about 2 degrees. Scrape down, see how she is. Subsoil should still be carrying a little bit more warmth, I would think. Oh, maybe not. Look at that. We're down to -4 at about an inch. So that soil temperature really dropped overnight. We were about -5 overnight. I think we're supposed to get down to -6 tonight.
Yeah, -7 at seed row depth. So that is quite the difference compared to Monday. So we'll see what tomorrow brings us.
Well, it's now Friday the 19th. The wind has finally died down. We were -5, -6 here overnight, and right now we're only at -3. So still very cold out here for seeding. Soil temperature is still really cold, but we'll take a look here and see what she's looking like. Something we don't often talk about is cold imbibition in cereals. For the most part, wheat and barley don't suffer from it too much, but on the odd occasion it can happen. So basically, when barley absorbs moisture from the ground, if that moisture then freezes during the germination process, it can burst those cell walls and it can cause damage. And that can result in, kinked and warped coleoptiles and roots and poor emergence, poor germination. It can also be completely fatal to it, so it can reduce a stand. However, we don't see it a whole lot, but this weather we've had the last few days could definitely cause it. So let's take a quick look in a seed row here.
So here we have some barley. This was seeded about a week ago. You can see it's just started to germinate. It's got a little tail on it there. So this would be right in that potential damage zone for being damaged by frost. And there's no doubt in my mind, after the last couple of days of negative temperatures, this ground temperature is below freezing here. So it could well be freezing. Will we see any damage from it? Who knows? But it is looking like the weather is supposed to be improving for next week. This weekend is supposed to be pretty nice. So hopefully by the time Monday comes around, we'll see a lot better seeding conditions and we'll be back in the field. By the time we get midway through next week, it's going to be spring again. We can hope.
And that'll be it for this week. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.